Dotting the North American culinary landscape are small-town diners trying to recall the 1950s. Perhaps you've encountered one, a Johnny Rockets franchise, or a local greasy spoon, possibly in a diner car. If you haven't, I don't mean to shatter your perception, but the food rarely matches the theming. Like an Irish pub serving Mexican nachos, retro diners usually have more modern interpretations of the classic 50s fare. However, nestled just east of the Rockies and west of the rest is the province of Alberta, home to Burger Baron, one of the last Canadian retro burger chains in existence, and maintainer of one of Alberta's most beloved blue-collar sandwiches. Let's dive into the Lebanese Mushroom Burger. If you've seen our Pomo video, or the Lebanese Burger Mafia by Omar Moalem, then you'll be familiar with the independent fast food chain Burger Baron. We won't go over it again, but quickly, it's a franchise that really isn't a franchise. There isn't one single corporate owner. The one thing most of the restaurants have in common is the mascot, the name, and the consistent star on every single Burger Baron's menu: the Mushroom Burger. Yes, a lowly basic mushroom burger is the hottest seller at most, if not every Burger Baron establishment, and typically has at least 3 variations to choose from: regular, Salisbury, and Swiss. The regular is perfectly simple: a patty, fried mushrooms, and a mushroom cream sauce. Salisbury subs fried onions for the fried mushrooms, but the cream sauce stays. Swiss is a deluxe upgrade to the regular, adding generic Swiss cheese and typically bacon. That's it. No tomatoes, no lettuce, no truffle oil. It's a complete opposite of what the internet dubs millennial burger joints, where the burgers cost $30 and have overwhelming toppings. It's a simple sandwich made from soup and beef. That's it. As unpretentious as it is anachronistic in the modern dining space. So how did something this simple get such longevity? Where did the recipe come from? And if it's so good, why isn't it on every menu across the country? The secret to that answer is pretty simple. It's on the soup tin. Campbell's soup, to be exact. Mushroom burgers, sans soup, have been around since man started cooking meat. The 1950s is when the demand for convenience and expediency really started hitting the post-war world. Campbell's capitalized on the societal change by publishing free recipes with alternate ways to utilize their canned soup line. A suggestion for onion burgers from the Chicago Tribune in 1956 is an example of utilizing this soup in a burger form. The Super Burger proved popular, so Campbell's took out a whole-page ad a year later, telling chefs to mix cream of mushroom soup into their burgers. The ads continued until the late 50s, where the Edmonton Barons enter the picture. The White Spot franchise of BC, another Canadian fast food chain, is the first Canadian chain to advertise a mushroom burger on their menu as far back as 1957. Not with a cream sauce, but the idea was floating around Western Canada. The first mention of the Baron's Mushroom Burger, without the cream sauce, comes from Edmonton's 150th Street and 111 Ave location run by Dale Naden and Ted Rousseau in December of 1960. The original Edmonton Burger Baron, at 69th Ave and 104th Street, run by Jack Coultier, is the likely source of the recipe. That restaurant opened in 1958, a year after the White Spot ad and 2 years after Campbell's Super ads. A mention of the blended mushroom cream sauce first appears at Al Walker's Saskatoon Burger Baron, 2 days before Valentine's of 1961. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly what the blended sauce is, so we can't credit him with the modern iteration. But that does lead us to Rudy Camaldine and his 68th Street 76 Ave Edmonton location. As per Omar's interview with Rudy, the previous owners taught him the mushroom sauce recipe. However, another member of the Camaldine family, Sal, says otherwise in a 2013 Calgary Herald article, also by Omar. Sal says he invented it by adding the Lebanese spices. I should mention that Sal has also been caught lying, so take his word with a grain of salt. This ad in the Wetaskiwin Times from July of 1970 does prove that Sal was selling mushroom burgers, and it also happens to be the first Albertan mention of the mushroom burger with a specialty sauce. Coincidence? Probably. Refer back to Al Walker mentioning the sauce blend in 1961. Without anyone empirically proving they created the sauce, you can either believe Sal and his Lebanese spice story, or accept the more likely fact that the recipe is from the back of a Campbell's can. Someone down the line, from founder Jack McDonald to Jack Coulter to Naden and Rousseau, and to finally the Camaldine family and associates, added the extra bits that make the sauce special. Oh, you thought this was just hot mushroom soup on a bun? Are you still wondering what makes this so endemic and special? The sauce, at least in its modern form, has extra ingredients like hot sauce, Worcestershire, and soy sauce. We couldn't find a Campbell's soup ad that added all the extra bits into that, so it probably isn't the source of the recipe. Perhaps it's a melange of factors: local taste preferences, availability, and cheapness of ingredients. Omar's article mentioned some owners use 5 ingredients, but everyone is being very mum about the whole sauce affair. MSG is definitely an extra one. Omar's article also explains how the Camaldines were instrumental in getting Lebanese folks into the Burger Baron chain. And the other owners took the recipe for the hot-selling item and didn't deviate much. Why mess with something that sells? That's how it spread across Alberta. Coined by Omar Muallim as the Lebanese Mushroom Burger for the aforementioned 2022 article for Quench magazine, the sandwich was so ubiquitous within the Burger Baron chain and across Alberta, it's the first menu item people think of when the little medieval man is mentioned. There's your longevity. Your grandpa's burger, your dad's burger, and now it's your burger. A portion of his film, The Lebanese Burger Mafia, is just about the mushroom-topped menu item itself. A true taste of the 50s that hasn't changed since probably the 60s. Who needs Johnny Rockets when you have the real thing close to home? At least in Alberta and Kelowna, BC. Today we will be recreating the mushroom burger as outlined at the very end of Omar's film. This is my interpretation because I'm not using a family-sized can of Campbell's cream of mushroom. In a saucepan, place 1 small can of cream of mushroom, 3 shots of Tabasco, 2 shots of Worcestershire, and roughly 1/3 of a teaspoon of soy sauce. I suspect that MSG may be one of the other ingredients, so feel free to toss a pinch in there if that's your preference. Mix over a medium flame until bubbling and stir to combine. Then make your burger. Today we will be doing a Swiss variant that typically has Swiss or American cheese and bacon. You can do the Salisbury variant with just fried onions, but I was fresh out of onions. Place a healthy dollop of mushroom cream sauce on one side of the bun. Fried mushrooms, patty with Swiss, and finally the bacon. Eat and enjoy. I found mine quite good. The beauty of the Lebanese mushroom burger and its simplicity is that there's no wrong way to make the variation. Just be creative with the base materials, like all the other Baron owners. And that's the lineage of and how to make an authentic Albertan Lebanese mushroom burger. In our opinion, its longevity is relative to its simplicity. The margins are good for the owners, and in the hard-working, harsh landscape of Alberta, a warm mushroom cream sauce in -40 after a 12-hour workday would warm anyone up. They're a cheap way to get perceived decadence. No simple mayo, mustard, or ketchup for me. Sautéed mushrooms in a cream sauce, just like the recipe on the back of the soup can. I'm far from the only Albertan to have this opinion. The folks in Omar's film backed me up. Perhaps converting patrons to the cult of the Baron's mushroom burger is as simple as a single bite. From its humble beginnings somewhere in Edmonton or California from Campbell's, to the modern iterations, the mushroom burger in its Albertan Lebanese form seems to be too simple to put on modern menus, especially outside the prairie provinces, and I don't think it would work without such a strong local brand pushing it to the masses. That's most likely the explanation as to why it hasn't spread. Alberta has robust industries that send workers into some very remote places. The culture of focused simplicity follows the money, and we're glad we have such a grassroots franchise to keep the culture alive. Sure, Wendy's or McDonald's will run a mushroom burger special for a few months, but it lacks the love and focus. Maybe that's why Burger Baron is so good. It's showcasing the mushrooms, with the optional complementary pairings. That also explains why the other cream soups never seem to catch on as a solo sauce. Other than cream of onion, I don't really know anything creamed that pairs really well with beef as much as mushrooms. Please give this time capsule of a sandwich a try. It will surprise you. Thanks for watching.